Hi, everybody, and welcome to Design+Style, a podcast for designers by designers. And I'm your host, Rachel Moriarty, and my co-host is
Dixie Willard.
This is episode 2, and today we thought we would talk about something that Dixie and I both call design work sessions.
Yes.
Yay!
If you haven't heard about that before, it may be because you are still calling them consultations.
Yes. And funnily enough, Dixie and I both come out of the furniture industry in some capacity. We both worked for Ethan Allen. I've worked for another one as well. And I can tell you that a lot of clients, when you say initial consultation or in-home consultation, they have been trained to think that that is a free service that you offer. That works in the furniture industry because the company is making money on the sale of the furniture. So you getting into their house is the first step to them purchasing. So that's why that works in that model. But when you are a solo entrepreneur or solo design firm, or a design firm period, I would say, your time is a really, really precious resource. So Dixie and I have reframed the consultation, and we've been calling it for about 6 months now. We switched.
I can't remember when we started exactly.
Yeah, it was sort of a test and pivot thing. We started calling them design work sessions. And when you have the word work in your consultation, they know that you're there to work. You're not there to just go in, say hi, look around, whatever, and then leave, and then they don't pay. When I go to a design work session, I treat it like that may be the last time I ever see that client. I want to give them value. I give them everything that I have in that appointment. And I feel okay. I personally charge for my appointments per session. They go about 90 minutes between, especially if it's the first time and I'm just meeting them and there's some, little niceties. They're between an hour and 90 minutes. What about you, Dixie? How do you do yours?
My work sessions, and I do an initial consultation before I do a work session typically, which the initial consultation, when we first talk, it's coffee with me and they have to pay for that too. But for an actual work session, it's typically a 2-hour block of time. And they have to pay. I don't show up if they haven't already paid me.
Brilliant. So that is something in the industry that's different from design firm to design firm. I think time is money. And if you were there, I've done it where I didn't charge, where it was just my initial step, where they were what you would call a prospect. And I didn't feel right. It never really sat right with me. I felt like I couldn't, if I was flowing and I had all these ideas, I felt like I would pull back on those ideas a little bit. And everybody's process is a little bit different. But when the muse shows up in my world and in my head, I have to let her go, because sometimes I want her to come and she doesn't. It's not, being a designer is not like working in an office and doing data entry, where you can come in sick and you can come in, with lack of sleep and all that stuff, and still perform at, a decent level. When you're creative, it doesn't work like that. So,
well, and I don't know about you, but for me, there are times when I will wake up out of a dead sleep with this brilliant idea, and I cannot go back to sleep until I go and do something about it. And that's not a 9 to 5 sort of thing. That's a 2 a.m. to 6 a.m. kind of thing. So
Exactly. So that's what we do that's one thing that's similar that we do in our firm. So you kind of do like a discovery, what I call a discovery session, which for me is a phone call. Because, I don't like to get up and get dressed and leave that often. I know you're out networking a little bit more in person than I am.
Right.
But I call that, so that's just to show, do it however it resonates with you. I will hop on a call like this, like we're doing right now on Zoom. For anybody that's just listening to audio, Dixie and I are on we don't call it, Zoom calls it Zoom. It's a video conferencing. I will FaceTime, Skype, however works for the client. Or even a phone call just to get that initial discovery call to see if I'm even a good fit, if their project is a good fit for me, something that I do, if I can service them. Oh, that doesn't sound.
Whoops, maybe not that.
Welcome to Design+Style, everyone. Full service design.
So I also do, people call me and I'll answer the phone and talk.
You answer the phone when people call you? I actually don't. So anybody listening, do not call me because I will not answer your phone call.
Well, there are restrictions to when I will answer the phone. But if somebody calls me, I'm happy to chat with them over the phone for just a little bit. But I like the interaction, actually getting to meet the people, and really any excuse to get to have coffee for me is awesome. So I make sure, though, that I only have certain days that I'm out of the office doing that. I'm not going to schedule a consultation like that just whenever. It's got to be within certain hours, just because otherwise you will find yourself driving all over Kingdom Come every single day and not getting paid what you're worth for it.
Is that where you live, in Kingdom Come?
Mm-hmm. Also known as East Tennessee. Well, there is a lot of driving here, though, because it can be a short distance, but because the roads are so winding, it can take you a lot longer to get somewhere. You look at how many miles it is, and you're like, no problem.
Yeah.
Oh, it takes quite a while. So, yeah, I'm not going to go drive 20 minutes away to have coffee with somebody because I live in the middle of nowhere. I do have to drive 20 minutes to have coffee with somebody.
Yeah.
I try and schedule them on certain days of the week when I'm already out, and then it's not taking me extra time.
Right. So I think if you're coming into the design, even if you're already in the design industry and you're doing the free consultations, but you find yourself frustrated. I feel like I was frustrated. I feel like I wasn't closing sales that way.
Well, yeah, because you're holding back because you don't want to tell them something that then you've given away. You want to get paid for your time and your energy and your creativity. And if you're holding back, it's just not going to be the same vibe as if you're feeling free to just do whatever you need to do.
I feel like also I had a lot of tire kickers.
Yes.
And I feel like I was attracting a client that kind of wanted free, like it didn't go from free to paid, it would just it would go from free to radio silent.
Hello, is this thing on?
Come in, Tokyo, do you read? Yeah, seriously, I felt like there was no close ratio. Once I have a design, I post my design work sessions on my website with my pricing. I actually put all of my starting prices on my website, which is a big controversy in the design industry as well. You have to figure out what works for you. I felt like it's a way for me to sort of, how do you say, it's like separate the tire kickers from people who are ready to get to work.
Because you want the people who are serious, not the people who just want, hey, come and tell me what to do. You can tell me what to do in 20 minutes, right? I don't really need to hire you. I can just pick your brain. Pick your brain. Oh my God.
Do not ever. Oh. I will unfriend you if you ever say pick your brain. And that goes for other designers too. I have other designers private messaging me all the time to try to pick my brain. There's got to be a new, better saying. It's just, I'm such an energy person, and the energy about someone picking my brain is just
about bouncing ideas off of you. Is that okay?
Oh, that's terrible. Terrible. That's horrible. feel like a
Collaboration,
target.
though, is okay.
Collaboration. I love collaborate. I actually love collaboration. That's like a love language word for me.
It just sounds so much better. We're going to work together instead of, I'm just going to steal what's in your head here. Let me just, dig in and see what I can find.
Well, it's collab now. Like that's what I noticed like all the cool bloggers and they collab. Yeah.
Well, I'm glad I have you because I am like the least knowledgeable person in the world when it comes to this stuff.
We're collabing here on Design and Style.
Mm-hmm.
So that was topic number 1 was to charge or not to charge. Yes. We do have topics here on Design and Style. We are just feeling our way through it.
We even write them down and discuss them ahead of time.
We do. And then we just go completely off the rails, but that's okay. The next one is don't give away the farm. Yes. Why did we say that? Because I give away the farm in mine because they're paying me.
If they're paying you, absolutely. But if you're not going to charge for a consultation or a work session, don't start telling them all of your ideas, because that was the thing that when I was in the furniture industry, it drove me nuts the most. You would work so hard to come up with this beautiful design for a couple, and really they would just take what you gave them and go somewhere else. They wouldn't buy anything from you. You didn't get a commission for it. You just worked for free.
Yes. And went into a deficit.
Yes. Oh, not fun. I have been there. I have done that. It is not fun. And then you have to earn more the next month to try and recover from it. So
yes, get out of the hole. So that is one of the things, though. I mean, when I started charging, I would just literally say, I may not see, and it may have been the clients training me from the free consults. I would go in thinking like, I may not see this person and they're paying me and I better give them some good value. And so, that's one of the things, that's what I mean by I give away the farm. I may not see, I want to feel like they got their money's worth, in these work sessions. So I just, I give as freely and as much as possible in that small amount of time. I do not mind if they take that and run with it. Like that is totally fine with me. Some have, and then what happens is they usually will call me back at some point, because this is the thing. They wouldn't have called you if they could fully execute a project on their own.
Yep.
There's going to be some point in the design process they're going to get stuck. And they may not be the type of person that can hire you for full service, soup to nuts, whatever. However, do you say that? Soup to nuts? I said that? Okay. I don't think we say that in California. I think I just made that up. But sorry about the long pause, listeners.
You have to work while the muse is working with you. Otherwise, you have long pauses and you get lost.
You have long pauses, and that's not great for a podcast. Not great for a podcast.
So when you're working with them and giving them freely, what happens if you do get stuck? That was actually, it's the perfect tie-in. See, you were doing it on purpose.
That was the perfect segue. If you do get stuck, so this is what I do. I am so cool now, because if you get to know me a little bit, you'll know that I wouldn't say I'm airy-fairy, because I think I'm pretty grounded, but I am very, I'm very flowy, I think. I think you could tell that I've just got this creative, self-expressing personality. Absolutely. And for me, when the words come out, the muse just hasn't shown up, or the muse isn't showing up, or when I use stuff like that, people like, yeah, okay. Like they totally, like that sounds totally normal coming out of my mouth. They're not surprised by it. And when the muse doesn't show up, I don't panic. I used to panic. I used to look like a deer in the headlights, like, oh my gosh, please God. And just praying in the background, please let me come up with an idea. Because I was so blocked, so stuck. I had nothing. I've done enough projects. I've done it enough years where I know that sometimes that happens. And I will tell the client right then and there, we will continue with that allotted amount of time. We will keep going. We'll keep going. I will take notes and notes and notes. And I will let the client know, I don't have the answer right now. It hasn't come to me. I will not make stuff up. That is one thing I will not do. I do not give, you know what I mean? I'm not going to make something up on the fly just to make it like to fill space or something like that. I always let the client know, and because this is the truth. As soon as I get in my car and start backing out the driveway, something happens in my brain and it opens up, and then all these ideas start flooding. And I've said to these ideas to the Muse, I've said, couldn't you have come 10 minutes earlier? I could have really impressed my client.
Where were you?
Where were you when I needed you? In the house with the client. And I tell the clients this, and they know. I mean, they can feel it in their body. That I'm telling them the truth. I'm telling them this from experience, that I've never walked into a project and said, oh, got nothing with this one. Sorry. This is the first time in 25 years that I don't have a solution. It doesn't happen. And so I can confidently tell them, you know what? It's going to come to me. When it does, I'm going to get back to you, and we're going to finish this, and you're going to get all the value that you deserve from this session.
And I'm kind of on the opposite side of that. I tell people before we even meet, I'm not going to have all the answers for you. I'm going to have to send you all of my ideas written down, because I know you're going to be shocked. Okay. I like to analyze things. I'm sure you haven't figured that out about me. So the engineer in me loves to analyze things and make sure that I've looked at every possible angle, and then I'm ready to do it. I don't flow. I'm very linear thinking when it comes to things like that. And so I just tell people up front, and it relieved so much pressure for me, just because I don't have to feel like I'm never going to be like a designer on HGTV where you walk in and, oh, let's do this and let's do that, and we'll take out that wall and extend this. And no.
Well, let's just get real. Let's just get real about that for the client, for anyone who's listening. It doesn't work like that anyway.
No.
If you've been on a production of anything, there's hours and hours of work that went into that 5-minute scene of Joanna Gaines going in and saying she's going to knock out this wall. It's not like she just walked in the place and it all, perfectly visioned out.
Nope. It's not an automatic thing for any of us. And I know that I don't flow like Rachel does. And so it's just so much easier to say, okay, well, I'm going to have to think about that, because I do have times when we start flowing and then they'll ask a question that's not quite what I expect. Or even, honestly, even when I am flowing, I still want to go back and think about it, because they say, well, what do you think? Do you think that we should move this here? And I think, I think that would work. But
do you really?
I do. I say, let me make sure. I want to double check. I like to double check everything.
I love this conversation.
And I'll sit there. I can totally picture in my head, I can walk through a space, even if it's just a drawing, it can just be the floor plans. I can walk through the space in my head, but I still feel the need to go back and check to make sure everything's precise and perfect. And that's why I don't like to do some of the fluffier.
What did our friend call it? Fluffin' stuff?
Fluffin' stuff? I love that. Fluffin' stuff. Fluffin' stuff doesn't quite fit me, because I'm going to sit there and rearrange it until the cows come home.
Right. Oh my gosh. I love this conversation. I love hearing that. And I actually think, even though I am flowy, I think that would help me to just say that up front. The Muse might even like that herself, not feel the pressure.
My Muse really appreciates it, because then, if she does decide to wake me up at 2:00 in the morning, it's not a big deal, because I just go and get it done then. And I'm happy. It just flows. And I'm usually much, much happier with the results than if I've gone ahead with, and I don't know about you, but you probably don't. If I don't stop myself and say, hey, I'm going to need to think about this, I will find myself going along with ideas that the client has that may not be in their best interest. So I can get caught up in their excitement, and then I go home and I think about it and I think,
that's a terrible idea.
oh, we can't do that. And then you have to go back and tell them that, which is, you don't want to have to be in that position.
Right. I love that. So let me just ask you while we're on this subject of, so when you're in a space doing these design, does your mind actually render?
Yeah.
Mine does too. That's what I always wondered about other people. So my mind, if you don't know what rendering means, it means like when you do watch HGTV and then let's say you're watching Property Brothers and then the furniture drops in from the floor and the walls go up and this wall comes down and and they do all those cool sound effects with it. That's what my brain does, and it does it with almost everything they say. So I'll be in the room and I'm starting to come up with an idea, like it's starting to form in I can actually start seeing it. Mm-hmm. And then they'll be like, oh, I really was thinking of a blue sofa, and a blue sofa will drop in. But maybe I'm picturing this velvet like Chesterfield, but I don't like velvet. And then that one switches out and this, you know what I mean? And it's funny because everything they say starts forming these different ideas. And so that is a blessing and a curse, because I was at a consultation recently where they had so many things that were unknowns. So they were like, what color should we do here? But we may change it in a year. So it's going to have to be something that goes now and goes in the future. And, and they kept having this. They were so wishy-washy about committing to something right now that I'm not surprised smoke didn't come out of my brain. Like, it was working so hard trying to keep up with, what they were saying they wanted, plus these unknowns out there, and I finally came home, and then the smoke came out, and I said, you gave me a lot to think about. And I had to call them and say, and I did explain a little bit about how my brain renders. And I said, and I got to be honest with you, I said, it's stuck. It's stuck because you are trying to, you're asking a little bit too much of me. You know what I mean? And so I said, you're going to have to commit to these 3 things before I can come up with a plan for you. And if you change the color in a year, then you just have to come back and I have to make it work with what we're doing now. So,
but that's what we're here for too, is to come up with that long-term plan to deal with all that stuff. So it works out perfectly when you tell them, hey, we need to do it like this.
And that's
for those of you who can't see, I'm gesturing different steps.
And that's where our value is for them. I mean, we give them peace of mind. I mean, what can you pay? They are spinning, they're spiraling. And the reason it's hard for me, because I do pick up on people's energy. So when they start going down the rabbit hole, I kind of energetically start like tunneling with them a little bit. But when I can get myself out of there, I'm cool to call them and say, this is how we're going to move forward. I'm going to get you through this messy middle. You hired me to get you through. You started here, you got stuck, and I'm going to get you all the way, through the end. And it just, all of a sudden, you just feel pressure off of them. You feel like they suddenly are okay to make decisions because they don't feel like they're going to make mistakes anymore, or you know what I mean, or there's nothing that can't be fixed, or you just start reassuring them along the way. And so I think peace of mind is something. I don't know how we went down that rabbit hole, because we're out of the initial design session.
We need to put our hands out to the side and our feet out and stop spiraling down that rabbit hole.
We do. Let's just stop right there.
Describing it, and that was the image in my head. That they're going down the rabbit hole, pulling you, and you just have to go stop.
We're doing like an X with our body for just podcast listeners only.
See, this is why you need video, because the really fun stuff is visual.
Exactly. If you are listening to this on a podcast app, you need to go to our website. Can you tell them the website, Dixie?
The website is designandstyle.club. And it is not .com, it is .club, like the place where you go to party.
Exactly, because that's what this place is all about. That's what we're all about, right, Dix?
Exactly.
So I think that's our points. Let's just recap really quick. To charge or not to charge, you and I both believe in charging. We will do free, I do free discovery calls, you do free coffee consults, mini coffee consults.
They have to buy me coffee. I won't go for free.
I did have a service called Buy My Coffee before.
See? Yeah.
Yeah. For anybody out there, you can do a service called Buy Me Coffee, and you can tell them it's going to be the most expensive cup of coffee you ever bought.
But it'll be so worth it.
So worth it. So worth it. Don't give away the farm with these free consults. Don't give away you are valuable. Your time is valuable. Your ideas are valuable. Don't give them away. Charge, charge, charge. And not like, we're not like talking about a lot of money here. I mean, we are talking about giving good value.
Right.
For a couple $100,
Exactly.
So, and it's okay to say you have to think. It's totally natural. It's normal. It's part of the creative process. If you talk to other designers, they'll tell you too, they get stuck. Sometimes we are a deer in the headlights. It happens. The muse doesn't show up. Be totally transparent with your clients. Come up with a way so that they know this is par for the course. No big deal. You're going to let them know. You're going to come up with a solution. You're full of them. They're just not there right now. And, if you are new to the design industry and you're into it and passionate about it because you love what you watch on HGTV, that's how I got in originally back in the early 2000s. That's okay. There's nothing wrong with that, but don't feel like you have to do things like they do on TV. That's a very, very produced show. Highly produced. It happens over months of time, and don't feel like you have to be just like the designers when they walk into a project. There's already so much work that's gone into making that scene. Exactly. That don't compare yourself to that. Come up with your own process, something that's people are going to know if you're trying to fake it. I mean, fake it till you make it. Yeah, there's that, but don't be all wimpy when you go in there and be like, I don't know, but
you gotta be you. And the only way you can be comfortable is when you're yourself. If you're pretending to be someone completely different, it's going to be obvious that you don't know what you're doing.
I should try to be you in my next consultation.
Oh my gosh. I was just thinking, if I tried to be you
would have to use your arms a lot more because
I could do that. But it would also mean those bookcases are going to come and attack me. So I think maybe we should just be who we really are.
Exactly. And I think that ends it for today. Right?
I think so. This has been Design and Style.
All right. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye-bye.